Welcome back. You're listening to Cindy Laverty Show on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Thanks for joining me. You can follow the Cindy Laverty Show on Facebook, just that, the Cindy Laverty Show, or you can find me on Twitter at Cindy Laverty, and I would love to hear from you. It's always fun to get your feedback on shows that we've done and see how it's affected you and if it's actually changed your life. Zoran is the author of Soul Space, and I'm telling you, I don't always go crazy over books, but I'm going crazy over this. Zoran, this book is staying by my bed, so I never lose touch with this.
Nice.
All right, so you were talking about, what were we talking about before we went to break? The emotional freeing of getting rid of the clutter and how we're able to see our lives differently. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we were.
So I just want you to go a little bit more into that because I think, clutter is like everywhere in our houses. It's so easy to just drop things, put things down, and then it all piles up. And that's where we get into trouble here.
Absolutely. Clutter is, can also be, representing, emotions that are not being felt. We're like putting stuff on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in the soul space world, it's really about, clearing the space so that you can actually see what's there, so you can actually feel what's there, so you can be present to what's there within yourself.
So clutter in our homes sort of represents chaos in our minds, right?
It certainly can. Absolutely.
I mean, it's not normal to just have piles of stuff that should be put away sitting around your house, although a lot of people do it. And we're not talking about hoarding or anything here. I'm not going down that path.
Right.
Because I have a feeling you wouldn't deal well with that. I don't know why I say this.
Hoarding is an extreme, and what soul space is about is not really dealing with that level of extreme.
Right.
This is really about just clearing your space. Some people ask me, about soul space, do you have to have a lot of money, in order to change your environment so it really supports you? Sometimes all you have to do is just clear out all the things that are no longer serving you, and what's left is all that you need.
Right. Will you share a story about how we unconsciously set up our spaces we think we want something, but we set them up to repel that? And I love the story you talk about the single woman, the very accomplished, beautiful single woman.
Yes.
Can you tell that story? Because I think it was really revealing for me.
Absolutely. So this is a woman that was living in Los Angeles who actually had a trust fund, so money was not an object, and living in an environment that she thought was beautiful but didn't quite feel comfortable in.
Mm-hmm.
And she had called up and for an appointment, and I went there. And as we walked through her space, I could see that the entire space was set up for one person.
Right.
Down to a small table and chair in the kitchen, which could have fit two, or the way in which the living room was set up, it was not cozy for two people to relax and be together in.
Right.
Or her, in her master bedroom, a king size bed pushed up against the wall so that one person gets in on one side and there's not a possibility of the other person
I
to get
thought
in.
that was classic.
It was so amazing, and yet all she talked about as we became connected was how she really wanted to have an intimate relationship.
Uh-huh.
So there was something inside her that, though in her mind she wanted to have an intimate relationship and have a partner, the expression of what she had already created was really, there was no room.
Right.
So the challenge and the opportunity there was to move through her space and figure out how to create it so that two people could actually live in it and be in it, that she could actually welcome a partner in.
Right.
Because all of that communicates to the people that are coming into our spaces. So she would have people come in, and they just didn't stay very long.
And she didn't even realize this, right?
Pardon me?
She didn't realize this.
She didn't realize it. And, there were things that she had to move through emotionally that she was disconnected to. And one of the things is because she did have a lot of money, she always had the fear that someone would come in and love her for her money and not for her.
Mm-hmm.
So that aspect and that deep fear that was embedded inside of her is what was the expression of her space.
And the story has a happy ending. The story has a happy ending.
Yes, because as we changed her space, she ended up meeting somebody, and she actually ended up getting married.
Oh, gosh.
And he loved her for her.
And are they still married? Tell me they are.
They are still together, and they're really enjoying their lives together. And it's, the soul space is a very interesting thing because it's, as you connect to those deeper emotions, it's amazing how life serves you up what you are ready for once you've moved through it.
I think it's just a little bit of magic. Stay with us. You're listening to Cindy Laverty Show. I'll be right back.